why are people in the UK so obsessed with football? Well, it's part of the culture in the UK. If you think about grassroots football, many people start off watching and supporting their local club, and if they're lucky, they will have a big club, and this can make it more exciting supporting a team that is challenging for the title and near the top of the league. But people can also get a lot of excitement and pleasure from watching local small teams. And this is part of the UK culture where people love football. You have things like rivalries. So if you have a local team and there's an opposing team, there's a bit of friendly competition, a friendly banter there. And in today's day and age where people are so stressed and their lives can quite frankly be mundane with work, family, they don't have any time for themselves. So watching football is an outlet. They get to berate the other team in a friendly way. So they can get out their emotions. And typically in the UK, a lot of people, especially men, can feel repressed. They can't express themselves. But when they go to a football match, they can sing, they can spend time with their friends, and it's an escape from their everyday lives. So this has become part of the UK culture, and people really love football. And it's about loving the team, regardless of who the manager is or who the players are. And it's quite interesting because people that buy the football clubs, they know people in the UK love the team so much. So it can be a good investment because regardless of how much investment they make, they can still make a profit, unless they start losing, of course, and then people will voice their concerns and seek to get change. So it brings people together in a way where they can release stress, and it's also entertaining, it's unpredictable. So you are pleasantly surprised when you see an excellent piece of skill. And these are players that are at the peak. So they're at the best of their ability. And football is a game which is not elitist. It's not like golf or tennis where you need to have fancy equipment. All you need is a ball. And many people start playing at a young age. That's how they make friends. And this is something that they can improve when they're younger. And they can take pride in getting better and becoming more skillful. So when people are supporting the team, it's part of the culture and identity in a way. So, for example, I support Arsenal. I've supported them for many years. And one of the reasons that I supported them was because I was able to see them on TV for free. So when Arsenal won the FA Cup when I was very young, I was able to see this and watch it on TV. And also because Arsenal is a multicultural club, you have players from different ethnicities, and that was interesting because they really took a step towards breaking the boundary and making it accessible for anyone to make it in a top club. For example, one of my favorite players was Ian Wright growing up. And I loved his celebrations, his goal scoring, and it just became very entertaining. So things like football is deeply inbred into the UK culture. It also has its family tradition. So it's passed down through generations. So when the family is supporting a team, you would buy the shirts, you would buy the merchandise, and as a child, you would grow up being surrounded by this. So you pass that identity down to your children. And so you can have many generations supporting and loving the same club. So it adds to a sense of identity. You can feel proud when they're doing well. You can engage in some banter with a rival, and it can release some stress. And it adds a lot of excitement. If there's a big match and the team's doing really well, it's a fantastic feeling. So this sense of culture, it's inbred because it's been passed down generations. And it's also a fascinating sport because it's like chess. It's like physical chess where there are lots of tactics involved. So you can take it as far as you want to. You can just simply enjoy the game for the entertainment, or you can look at the tactics. There's lots of things surrounding it, for example, things like fantasy football. And even on the BBC website, they will make mention to fantasy football players if that particular player has done well. So it's something which brings people together. And I think it's very interesting because, yes, there are other sports like rugby and tennis, but football is more universal and it brings people on together on a global scale. It's unpredictable because you don't know who's going to score, when they're going to score, and it adds to that sense of excitement. Also, there's a sense of pride in creating the sport and exporting the sport. So England is seen as the birthplace of football, even though on a national scale they haven't been doing very well, to be honest. So there's a sense of pride in that, even though other countries have adopted the sport and added their own twist to it. So I guess there's a sense of ownership or bringing football home, if you will. So this is why people in the UK really are crazy about football. And from my personal perspective, when I'm watching football, it relieves stress. It can add stress if the team is struggling or not doing well, but that's part and parcel of supporting the team. And there's so much extra information you can gather. There are things like podcasts, there are YouTube channels dedicated to your specific team. So you can find out information so you can always be updated with the latest information. So, for example, if I have to do any kind of housework, listening to an Arsenal podcast makes it bearable to do that housework. So ordinarily, I would listen to music, but it adds some extra value and entertainment. And the fact that people also love football so much that they dedicate their day to creating content around that specific team. So, yes, people love it, but on the other hand, it's also big business. People can exploit that. The big football organizations can have too many football matches. For example, in the Champions League, the format has changed, and I personally don't really like it. I prefer the old system where you had home and away, and it builds up the excitement of when the big teams get through and then play each other rather than playing each other too early. It's almost a bit of an anticlimax. So it's big business, and these people can be guilty of destroying the product, because if the players end up getting really injured, that means that the team doesn't do well, it doesn't add entertainment. So they're almost shooting themselves in the foot. So let me know in the comments, do you love football? Why do you think People love football so much. Who do you support? It will be really good to hear from you, and let me know why you support the team that you do. Is it because they were doing really well, they were very successful? People can accuse someone that supports a successful team of being a glory supporter, but this is the nature of business. If you think about products like Apple, for example, people will flock to Apple because it's a successful brand. It's the same thing with football. People would flock to a successful team because they want to enjoy that winning feeling. Or do you support a team because it's a local team, you've grown up supporting them, you've watched them play, and it adds that extra level of interest because you've seen them on a small scale. It's much like when you find out about a new band and you're watching this band and no one else really knows about them until they blow up, and then they become very popular and everyone knows about them. But you have been supporting them for many years. So it's almost like you have this loyalty to the team. Now, should you have a loyalty to the team? Because many players don't have a loyalty to the team. If they have a better offer, they would jump ship and go to another team. But on the other hand, can you blame them? If this is their job, they have a short lifespan, and they want to secure the future, financial future for themselves, for their family, it just makes logical sense. But as a fan, we can become very obsessed with the team. So let me know, and I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. Thank you very much.